Welcome to MarcusG.tv. I'm Chef Marcus Julian. I'm a chef on a mission. Today's mission, Carl joins me.
Hi everybody, it's Carl here, Carl Solomon.
Carl, and we are going to talk about beating the winter blues.
And that we are.
Because it is cold here in New York, and it's actually cold in a lot of parts of the country.
Yes, very cold.
And you see a lot of people that say they get depressed, they get the winter blues, they're depressed, they don't want to do anything. I got to tell you, I'm a runner, and it's not that I get depressed, Carl, but I don't look forward to going and running when it's 12 degrees, 15 degrees like it was today, or 30 degrees. I don't look forward to that. And if I let that affect me, I would get depressed and not run. And then, of course, I'd have this whole kind of roller coaster. So let's talk about the 10 steps that we've sort of compiled. And what do we got here?
Sure. So Marcus and I had been discussing this and just rattled off a few things to each other, and then I turned around and did a little bit of research just to put a little more definition on this list, and it turns out that what we had discussed is absolutely accurate. So the first thing, Marcus, you mentioned is exercise. And while it's true that exercise is important year-round, it's even perhaps more important in the winter months for several reasons. Like, how do you feel after you do a 3-mile or 16-mile run?
I feel fantastic. I feel 1,000% better than I did while I was contemplating the run. Because while I was contemplating the run or the workout, was all the negative thoughts that were trying to come through my head. It's too cold, you shouldn't be out there, nobody else is running, or other people are saying something to me. But after I run, I feel just like a whole new life has taken shape. So here's my tip if you're an outdoor person, especially if you're a runner. Get out there and dress appropriately. If you dress warm enough, and that's what I say to myself, I'm dressing warm enough. What's the big deal? I have a hat, I have the gloves, I have the pants, I have the jackets, I have the layers. If it's super cold out, I have the face cover, the nose cover, the mouth cover. So dress warm enough and just go do it. You will be highly rewarded. Your body will thank you, your mood will thank you, your mind will thank you.
Right, and it doesn't necessarily have to be certainly a high activity, vigorous, certainly Marcus's preference, and not necessarily mine either. I would prefer preferably to go for a hike or cross-country ski, which is, for me, better for my body type. But the point is, even if you were working out indoors, it's getting your endorphin levels up, and those become mood enhancers during the time that you're working out. So it increases your mood and makes the lack of sunlight and the lack of fresh air and your sitting stillness, you're fighting that by getting your body moving, and it's really better for your mood overall and your brain.
100% agree with that. Now, here's one little tip that I have always done. And I know a lot of runners that do this. And whether you're a runner, you can go snowshoeing, go hiking, go for a walk. Right. I know people that walk the track in the wintertime. They just go to school and walk the track. So it's not just about running here, but I'm just referencing running. I like to go out and run, even if I have a sore throat, or even if I don't feel 100%. I feel that running, doing an activity, will boost my immune system, will kickstart my immune system. And I know a lot of people that say, Marcus, I feel the same way. Rain, shine, sick, or well, I go out and I feel better after my run. Coincidence or not, it works for me.
Right, which leads to the next thing, and of course everybody hears this, diet, exercise, lifestyle, but it's true. Diet is even more important during the winter perhaps than the summer months, because we have a tendency to be outside. We have a tendency for greater exposure to sun, which is vitamin D3, and unfortunately, there are several studies, Dr. David Bronstein being one of them. Iodine and D3 are incredibly, incredibly important, not just for your immune system, but also for your mood. So the diet is extremely important, because you have to fight, as we will keep saying through this segment, is the lack of sunshine, the sitting still, the wanting to nest, not wanting to move. So avoiding refined sugars and getting complex carbohydrates, and I'm going to let Marcus explain this, because this is one of our pet peeves. He and I talk about this constantly. Carbohydrates have become the bad guys of the diet, but it depends on the quality of that carbohydrate. Do you want to expand on that, Marcus?
100% accurate, Carl. So we have all these paleo books. We have all these books, the Atkins, the weight loss books, these carb restriction books, that they restrict your amount of carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates have gotten a very bad rap, and here's the one reason. Because some carbohydrates are actually bad, And some carbohydrates are very necessary to support a healthy diet. But a lot of these books don't differentiate. And the problem with differentiating is a lot of Americans can't differentiate, so they want to simplify. So these diets come out and say avoid all carbohydrates, right? Avoid all fruit, because fruit has fruit sugar and this and that. Complex carbohydrates and fruit are one of the most nutritious foods you could possibly eat, especially fruit and veggies. But back to the fruit, they sit there and they absorb the sunlight. They have a ton of nutrients. They're live and living foods. If you think about eating a piece of fruit, Carl, a fruit is one of the most perfect foods. If you look at an apple, you don't need to cook it. You don't need to add salt. You don't need to add sugar, okay? When you look at other foods, you know, you start making like rice, you're going to start adding salt, or you're making risotto, you're going to start adding butter and cream. You make mashed potatoes, you're going to add butter and cream. A lot of people are used to that. And it's the combining and the processing of those complex carbohydrates that make the overall diet unhealthy. Fruit first, veggies, steam your veggies, don't cook with too much oil. If you're using salt, use a very high quality, mineral dense, unprocessed salt. You know, everything from sweet potatoes to more heirloom varietal potatoes. Heirloom varietal potatoes, I mean like Yukon potatoes, fingerling potatoes, not the baking potatoes, not the ones you make French fries out of. Those have been hybridized. Those are a lot of starch, a lot of sugar in those, a lot of simple sugar because they've been hybridized. The other potatoes have not been hybridized nearly as much or hybridized at all. But things like quinoa, amaranth, all those high quality, high complex, high protein grains, whole wheat. If you don't have a problem with celiac, which not many people do, the people that do have serious problems, whole wheat is perfectly fine. Organic whole wheat, einkorn wheat. You're a big fan of einkorn wheat, Carl.
I love einkorn wheat because it is an ancient grain, but I also like kamut and spelt. Those grains have been less hybridized and less cross-bred than this typical standard American wheat, which has been unfortunately genetically modified and hybridized to ad nauseum. So that's a lot of where the issue is for a lot of people.
Absolutely. So complex carbohydrates are your friend. Don't process them too much. Don't add the fats. Don't add the sugars. Eat whole foods. Beans are a powerhouse. Lentils. There's tons of different types of beans. Rice, brown rice, jasmine brown rice, short grain brown rice, brown basmati rice, red rice, black rice. The rice list goes on and on to enjoy rice and beans. So yes, complex carbs, high quality fruits and veggies, organic whenever you possibly can, and the least amount of processing. Watch the amount of oil you add in all of your food. But the thing is, Carl, people say, oh, I just ran all these miles so I can afford to eat like crap.
Yeah,
And
no.
that's not the situation. When you work out, your body is under stress and your body needs more nutrients, higher quality food to actually help repairing. And the same thing in this winter time. Your body's not exposed to all of the sunlight and maybe the local fresh food. So you really have to be conscious and saying, I'm going to eat better because it is the winter time. So,
absolutely. And then speaking of sunlight, and as I mentioned before, I was fortunate enough a few years ago to be sitting on the beach in Maui, and my own personal thing is I had suffered from SAD, which is seasonal affective disorder, and I was always looking for ways to combat that, and had some blood work done and found that I was subclinically low with vitamin D3. Now what I'm about to say is my personal experience. I am not making any medical recommendations. You all listening have to go take care of your own bodies in the best way that you can. But I do know that from the studies I've read, again referencing Dr. David Bronstein, who's one of the people that I do as a go-to for two things, iodine and D3, these are both immune boosters, and because the sun itself has been made a bad guy as well. Most North Americans don't get enough of that, and as a result you're not producing enough vitamin D3, and that is from exposure on the larger areas of your skin. Now you don't need a lot of time with that, so anytime you can get out and get the sun on your face, especially in the wintertime, is a good thing. It actually helps set your circadian rhythms better. They tell you if you're going to transverse time zones in a plane, the best thing to do is go for a walk in the sun because it resets your body clock and it helps to reset your melatonin so that you get back in an accurate sleep pattern. So with the lack of light in the wintertime, it's really important that you be able to get at least some sunlight during the day, and you don't need a lot. But then also, like I say, the potential for you to go see about supplementing vitamin D3 and iodine as well as immune boosting are are at least in my mind important.
Absolutely. Speaking of flying on a plane, the best thing besides getting sunlight as well in combination is walking barefoot.
Right.
Charging yourself on the magnetism of the earth, so barefoot, getting sunlight. So let's just tell people, Carl, that sitting in front of a window is not the same as being outside.
Absolutely not.
People think I'm getting sunlight, I'm sitting in a window. It might feel good, it might feel warming, but it's not the same effect as actually being out in the sun. And Carl, how much time are we talking in the sun? I mean, because the sun has been you know, made to be like this big villain. Okay, that, oh, don't get skin cancer, and that was just a whole other topic we're not going to want to get into. But people are afraid to go for extended periods of time in the sun. With that being said, are we talking 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes of sun?
20 minutes max, basically, is really all you need, especially if you can get the largest areas of your body exposed. And if it's the wintertime, obviously you're going to be bundled up to your neck. So you could probably go a little bit longer. But then again, even though the sun is lower in the sky and the angle hitting you is not as intense and you're not going to get burned, you still may want to have a little bit of protection on your face at the same time. But you don't need a lot. Which again, you need to know your skin type and what you can handle and what you can't handle. But like I said, the sunlight hitting your eyes, hitting your face, getting it into your system that way, through your skin obviously, is important. So you don't need probably, 20 minutes during the summer certainly, and at least maybe a half an hour to 40 minutes in the wintertime.
Perfect.
Which is go for a walk.
Go for a walk. Simple as that.
One of the other things here is being social. So if you can make your activities social, and that the gathering with people, again, the nesting thing and isolating yourself.
Right, the winter blues. You know, people get depressed. They basically go into a cocoon. They hibernate. They don't interact with people. And if they do interact with people, they find to interact with people that are just as miserable as they are, right?
Absolutely.
So do the opposite of that. Get out, be active, of course, what we're talking about, and be around people. Go to social events. You know, there's no reason to hibernate like a bear. You want to be, and even if it's being social with an online community, obviously that's not as good as being face-to-face with people, but the internet has opened up a way for us to really explore the way we communicate with people. But because you have the internet, you can find groups that meet. Go on to meetup.com, go on to social groups and find people with like interests as you, and go meet them. Whether it's for a wine tasting, whether it's for a tea tasting, whether it's for a book read, whether it might be an event at the library. A lot of public libraries have a great lineup of events. Okay, there might only be one event a month that might suit your likes, but it's still one event a month that you're going to get to as opposed to getting to nothing. So really start networking with people. You know, a lot of people don't find their passion, and that's a whole nother topic in itself.
Absolutely.
But if you know your passion, continue with your passion. Be around people that share that passion, that share that like with you. Some people have a passion for shopping, and if you have money to go shopping, then go out and go shopping and be social with people at stores and talk to people. If that's your passion, and but just get out. The bottom line is get out, meet people, talk to positive people, and get some good energy from people. I know we're in the restaurant right now. We're upstairs in the office, and I got to tell you, there's some live music going on downstairs. And the people that are coming in might be having dinner, they might be coming in for a drink, they might be coming in for a cup of tea, they might be coming in to just meet a friend. But there's a lively bunch of people down there. Everybody walking in tonight, Carl, despite that it's like 8 degrees out, is in a phenomenal mood.
Yes.
Everybody's giggly, everybody's energetic, the music is great, and the music's not loud. It's just more of like mellow. It's more than background music. It's recognizable favorites that you'd understand, you know, some Beatles and stuff like that, and everybody's just in a phenomenal mood.
Yeah, no, the energy down there tonight definitely is a good one.
Yeah.
Nice and high and really positive.
Surround yourself with people like that. I'm not saying go to a dance club and spend a night at a dance club and get drunk. I'm just saying surround yourself around positive energy.
Absolutely. And actually, that leads us to the next two. We'll start with the first one, since Marcus mentioned it, is avoid binge drinking, which is a real tough one during the holidays. You know, we get caught up into that season, and it ties back into the very second thing we talked about, is diet and maintaining your diet. But the binge drinking, avoiding an excessive amount of alcohol during these darker seasonal months, is really critical, because it's very depressing on the immune system. It's also very depressing on your mood. And it's very dehydrating alcohol. There's a lot of downsides to alcohol. And Carl, I have to admit that the winter is my favorite time of the month to drink beer,
because of all the special releases. All these breweries come out with holiday releases, and they're big, strong winter beers. And I love barley wine beers. I love stouts. I love porters. I love these Belgian strong ales. So for me, it's like I'm a kid in the candy store downstairs when all these kegs start coming in. But I have to consciously make a decision to just taste and then choose, if I want to have a beer, choose random times, not really random times, but choose, I guess times that where I'm not overdoing it, where I can say, okay, I'm going to have one beer tonight, or I'm going to taste a half a beer, or this or that. Alcohol, you know, there's really no place for alcohol in a healthy diet. A lot of runners, a lot of health nuts will drink alcohol, and I guess it's a matter of, at that point, of drinking as little bit as possible, drinking organic wine, no sulfites added, you know, but alcohol is really not a place of a true healthy diet. I don't care what the studies say, Carl, or what certain people say, oh, my grandmother had a drink a day until she was 95, or there's resveratrol in wine. Sure, there's resveratrol in wine, but there's also alcohol. And the amount of resveratrol quickly is an antioxidant that is, they're calling it the new, like, anti-aging antioxidant. So it's supposed to be one of the new up-and-coming antioxidants, if you haven't heard of resveratrol. But the amount of therapeutic resveratrol you need is going to be found in like 20 glasses of wine. You're going to be drunk beyond belief to get a therapeutic dose of resveratrol. You're better off taking a resveratrol pill, unfortunately, a supplement, and doing it that way. And I know some of you are saying, well, that's not the whole form. So then eat some grapes. Get some grapes with the seeds. That seeds have antioxidants. Put grapes, juice grapes, put them in your smoothies, things like that. Freeze the grapes, put them in your smoothies. Those are a wonderful addition to smoothies. So as little alcohol as possible.
So that leads us to the next thing, treat yourself. And what does that look like? It doesn't mean you need to live in a, you know, necessarily a cloistered existence and not, again, not have a drink or not have, you know, maybe something sweet to eat if that's what your, you know, tendency is to be or whatever, but it still be good to yourself so that you don't feel like you're on this strict diet, so to speak.
A lot of things that people misunderstand is they think that because I might be a health nut or you're a health nut or somebody else is a health nut, that we don't eat things that are sweet. We think, oh, we're avoiding sugar, right? People say, oh, I avoid sugar, I avoid sugar. Avoiding sweetness is different than avoiding sugar. When you're avoiding sugar, I refer to sugar as white refined sugar, as brown sugar, as refined sugars. Sweetness comes in many forms, like apples, bananas, oranges. Carl, you can treat yourself on so many different types of exotic fruits, especially in the wintertime. Pomegranates. But then if you want to bake and make cookies, there's other substitutes that you can use instead of white sugar, like molasses, maple syrup, coconut sugar, which is coconut sugar, palm sugar it's also called, or coconut sap. Dehydrated coconut sap is very nutrient dense. Now keep in mind, because these are less refined sweeteners or more whole form sweeteners, it's not a license to abuse them. But if you want to make a cake, I mean, Jamie makes a phenomenal cake, my wife, with maple syrup, with raw chocolate, some spelt flour, organic whole wheat spelt flour, and maple syrup. And she makes an incredible icing that's just to die for. So that, for me, is an indulgence, okay? There's no eggs, there's no butters, there's no cholesterol in it. It's not extremely high fat. There's some coconut oil in it. But that's, for me, is an indulgence. Or making a smoothie, Carl, making a chocolate smoothie from freshly cracked young Thai coconuts, or you can buy coconut water, some couple of dates in there, some cacao powder, some vanilla and maybe a banana in there, and some chocolate. For me, that's a treat.
Really satisfying.
That's an indulgence for me, okay? Because that satisfies my sweet tooth. Now, we all have sweet tooths. Our bodies are designed to run on carbohydrates, which is why it's so hard to give up carbohydrates. It's hard to give up sweetness in itself, especially fruit. So don't fight it. Eat the right kind.
Absolutely. So, very important. And then our schedules, especially if you have children. You know, I know that you and Jamie run around with the children to take them from pillar to post, and you're active at the restaurant and all of that. But you really do need time to relax, especially during these months as well, as you do during the year. But again, that lower light level forces us into a place where with a little bit lower energy. So it really behooves us to acknowledge that and definitely take some time to plan each day that you're going to have some time to unwind, because you get up usually before dark, and you're in your office or you're doing your job, and then you're back at home and it's dark, or you leave and it's dark.
Right, right. You go to work in the dark and you come home in the dark.
Right.
And you know, Carl, I love my sleep. I love my sleep. Do I sleep excessively? No, I don't sleep excessively. I get my 8 hours, my 7 hours of sleep. I get up early in the morning. I like to, you know, get on the computer and take care of emails in the morning and do things. I love to go out and run. So, but I got to tell you, I really value my sleep. Sleep is where, you know, a lot of things, a lot of healthy things happen. And a lot of people think, oh, I don't need that much sleep. You're wrong. You do need sleep. You need sleep to recover. You need sleep to heal yourself. You need sleep to get proper peace of mind. You need sleep to feel good. The more sleep you get, not excessive sleep, but the more proper sleep you get, the more energized you're going to be, and the more productive you're going to be, and the more you're going to want to run. And it's, at that point, it's like or exercise. At that point, it's a whole cycle that the more you feed this positive cycle, the more the positive cycle feeds you. And sleep is such a crucial element. People don't understand, especially, you know, myself as a runner, that's time that I sleep is when my body's repairing. So I run, I get stressed out because your body goes under stress from running, and I feed my body the proper nutrients, and then when I go to bed is when my body starts rebuilding. Anything else you can add on sleep?
I will actually, and I was going to save this one to the end, but since you asked, we'll talk about it now. I've been recently looking at some research on sleep and came across something I didn't know actually. I was always told that you go to sleep at the same time and try and wake up at the same time every day. That's probably, I would say that's still true, but I've been experimenting because being at the restaurant, we have erratic hours. I don't get home at the same time, I don't get to sleep at the same time, and I have to get up. Maybe I don't have to get up necessarily at the same time every day. What's important, what I just learned is that the importance of the sleep cycle is that once you get into sleep, you need 5 to 6 cycles of 90 minutes of sleep minimum, and you need to want to wake up at the end of the cycle, not before or not in the middle. Now I've been experimenting with this with myself, going to bed at erratic times and trying to set my alarm either in the 4th cycle, which is all I actually might have time for, or at the end of the 5th cycle. And I came across this really cool little app on my phone that actually for both Android and Apple, that calculates this stuff for you, and it's actually helped. The couple of weeks in there that I've been experimenting with this has actually been an interesting thing. So it's called the Sleepy Time app. It's SLEEPYTI.ME, and you can actually set a time or choose a specific time when to go to sleep, and it'll come up at the end with the calculations of when you want to wake up.
That's pretty cool.
It's actually way cool. Yeah, it is really cool.
Excellent.
And you just set your alarm to that, and like I said, you might find that the inconsistency with which you may be going to bed, but you might be able to target a time to get up. I noticed that even if I only got with a 4 cycle of sleep, like I said, they recommend a 5 to 6 cycle. I wasn't as groggy when I woke up, and I wasn't ready to go back to bed, which is, I've also noticed in the past few days, getting up before the cycle is over.
So let me understand this. Basically what I'm hearing is that a 4 sleep cycle is better than 4.5.
Correct, because you're waking up into the middle of the next cycle.
You wake up in the middle of the next cycle,
yes,
which is not good. So you're rather getting less sleep and completing a cycle and not starting a new cycle.
That's right.
Okay, that makes sense.
The premise of the app is based on the average person falling asleep within 15 minutes.
Okay.
And then the last thing that I see that I researched and came up with is if you're prone to making resolutions and you want to work through those, is to actually act on them, regardless of how small a step it is. If you really have something that you've held is an important thing for you to change or begin to maneuver differently, or a goal that you have set for yourself for the current year, whatever it is, even if it's the smallest step, don't belittle that step, don't make it insignificant, but act on it.
So New Year's resolutions. You know how many people, Carl, I see every year make the same resolutions? I want to lose the same 20 pounds I lost the year before that I actually put on throughout the rest of the year, that I'm back in the same situation. Or they just say, I want to lose 20 pounds because I never lost that 20 pounds last year that I said I was going to lose. Or I want to write a book, or I want to write a song, or I want to buy a car. And they're in the same situation. And they never really break their goals down to saying, okay, if I want to lose 20 pounds, I need to lose, so many pounds a month for the next 12 months. And I think that's feasible. So I need to lose, 0.5 pounds a week or 0.4 pounds a week. If I lose 0.4 pounds a week, by the end of the year, I can lose everything. But the problem is people don't stay focused, right? There's no focus left in anything. There's no accountability left. So people make these resolutions. They don't tell anybody. There's nobody checking in on them. They don't have an accountability partner. They don't have a coach coaching them and giving them, I don't want to say giving them tips, but there's nobody there coaching them where they believe they can actually do it. Because really a coach is valuable. A coach is a very valuable thing for everybody. Not only do sports teams need coaches, but individuals need coaches in business and personal life. And what a coach does is they actually show you that you can accomplish things. They help you set goals. And through there, they're going to hold you accountable. So if you say you're going to do something, then the coach is going to be like, next week, you said you were going to do that. Why didn't you do that? Now, this is just a quick rundown of coaching. Coaching involves much more than that. But you need somebody to hold you accountable. You need to announce your resolution. So if you made a resolution to lose weight, make that resolution with 5 other people that want to lose weight as well, where you all can support each other. You all can measure each other's progress, right? There's more fun in synergy. There's more fun at a baseball game with 30,000 people rather than 2,000 people, right? Mm-hmm. The more the merrier. So join a group that wants to lose weight, and so you all can share your ideas, you all can mastermind, you all can feed off of each other, and so there's some competition. Competition really brings out the best in all of us. I think competition can be extremely healthy, the right competition, of course. So set goals, measurable results, get an accountability partner, get a coach if you can, join a group, and of course the goals need to be feasible, and of course you have to have a reason why you're doing it, because if the reason's not strong enough, you're not going to do it.
That's right. Motivation. So if you made a resolution that you're not feeling all that motivated about, you might not have made the best resolution. But if you made one for your health or for your family's sake or for a goal at work that seems attainable, measurable, attainable, practical, and then go and set those goals and have somebody outside the situation is probably best that you can check in with, that you're going to be willing to talk to.
Excellent. Excellent. Our steps for beating the winter blues.
Absolutely.
Stay healthy. Happy New Year. And good luck.
Have a great one.